So I don't think a lot about my dreams, but my partner does. My partner loves dreams. My partner loves talking about dreams. My partner loves analyzing dreams. And she, yesterday at brunch, hit me with a fucking curveball that I was not prepared for. And so, I'm talking about this dream I had, which, I'm not going to get in depth because I know, like, if you don't like hearing about dreams, it's the most annoying conversation in the world. Basically, though, I was on some, like, weird, like, artificial floating island, and it's basically almost like a city-sized version of the world from Flapjack. Fucking millennial kids know. And there was, like, some big government conspiracy. And it was a whole thing, and I was trying to protect my family and my friends and everything. And so, as we're talking about it, I'm talking about other dreams, and she's like, like, how do you see yourself in your dreams, and has that changed over time? Like, has there been, like, a running theme in your dreams, and has that theme changed over time? Like, it's a simple question, and it's a cool question. But as I sat there and thought about it, it fucking just broke my brain. Because what I realized is that all of my dreams start out, something's kind of weird here. All my dreams start out very fun, very, like, cute and chill, and that is a chair in the middle of it's two chairs in the middle of the freeway. Huh. Someone's having a bad day. But yeah, like, starts out fun and chill. Oh, we're in Flapjack Land. This is a blast. This is funny as hell. And then every single one of them turns into where I am trying to protect my family from some, like, major government conspiracy or plot, or from some, like, existential threat. And it always centers around these themes. And, like, what I realize is it's like, it's kind of indicative of where I am and my mindset. Because, like, I am happy now. I'm very happy now. I'm very, like, I feel content. I feel like my soul is being maintained and fulfilled. Like, I'm doing good. And I have, this found family unit. I have my partner, I have my close friends, I have my kids. And, like, is it perfect? No, nothing ever is, but it's functional and it's mine. And, like, now that I have that, I make it a point to keep that, to encourage that, to like, really, like, I found this happiness and I don't want to lose it. And my dreams all reflect that. I have this found family. I have this group of people who I love, that I want to protect, and I need to protect them from everything. I need to fight everything to protect them. And because that's the thing, that, like, a phrase that I heard from the most random of places. I may make a video on it later, but the phrase is, happiness must be fought for. And the context that it was in, it was a video game mod it was a Doom 2 mod, myhouse.wad, if you're ever curious. It's fascinating as hell. But, like, there's 2 endings to it. Technically 3 endings. And, the good ending, the happy ending, requires you to do a whole lot of fighting and a whole lot of extra work. And it's kind of the thing, is, like, in order to find that happiness, to find that peace, you have to earn it. You have to fight for it. Happiness must be fought for. And I believe that. I really do. And so like my dreams really live in that space. And the other part of her question is, has that changed over time? And it has, because when I was, even as much as a decade ago, my dreams are always me, like, alone. Like, I was a lone survivor. I was, still fighting against everything, but I was isolated. And so that, like, it's definitely a crazy transformation in and of that. And like it just fucking rewrote part of my brain, realizing that for multiple reasons. The biggest one being that I didn't realize that my entire mentality had shifted that hard. And I know, like, if you just sit here and watch videos and watch me talk about it, you're like, well, duh. But it's because I have trouble seeing the big picture sometimes. And it's something I work on. But, like, and, it's just... it's just like, but, like, to know that I'm getting to a better place, so much so that my subconscious recognizes it. My subconscious is actively working through it, working on it. It's cool. It's a trip. The other part of this conversation that was really interesting was we're talking about the way my brain works and the way that, like, I process stuff. Because, like, we're talking about how she loves to watch, to ask me questions like that, and to just watch my brain just go and go, and how I have, like, these, like, sudden revelations of, like, stuff. And it's because we what we're kind of realizing is that her and I we kind of approach like major thought processes completely differently from each other. Because I am very data driven, results oriented, and so naturally, like, I'll see the big picture, but I'm primarily focusing on the on the small stuff, on, like, the smaller details. So, like, because, like, I have that mindset of, like, if you want to tackle a big problem, you break it down into small problems and solve those. If you want to, like, I think a phrase that I've used before and I got from a different YouTuber is fight battles that are small enough to win but big enough to matter. And so that's kind of what I do. That's how I solve problems. I get through stuff. Is I just, blaze through stuff like that. What happens, though, is that when you focus so much on, solving small problems, is that you don't necessarily realize where the big picture is at. Because, like, I'll go, cool, big picture is this. And then I'll start chipping away at stuff, but I don't stop to, like, reassess the big picture. My partner is the exact opposite way. She sees the big picture, always looking at the big picture, but, like, she sees the broad strokes, but she's not seeing the fine detail work as much. And what makes it interesting, and another reason why we realize we're perfect for each other, is that we're generally on the same vibration, on the same mindset. Like, we, very similar values, very similar thought processes. So we kind of become a sanity check for each other. Because, like, she's focused on the big picture, I'm focused on the details. When you merge them together, you get everything. And so what'll happen is, it's like, she'll kind of have a thing of, like, man, I kind of feel this way about this bigger issue. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, because here's all the little details and stuff that all support that feeling. Or vice versa. I'll be sitting there, I'm like, all this little stuff's been going on, all these, like, you know, isolated incidents, and she's like, well, yeah, that fits in this big picture spectrum. And so it works out really well. And, you know, it's proof of how on the same picture, and how much we complement each other. And so that you know, that's been a trip. But, like, and kind of the other part of it too is I was talking about how, like, you know, I am cognizant of how me being data driven, me being, you know, focused down the small stuff, like, you know, I'm cognizant of the blind spots there, and how that's a good thing, because I'm constantly self-evaluating. I'm constantly, like, you know, trying to optimize myself, trying to, you know, like, understand who I am and how I operate. And it's one of those things where it's like, I do recognize that enough, especially with her now. I can check in on that and be like, hey, this is where it is, what I'm thinking. You know, does this sound right? Does this sound like, you know, where are we at with this? And so that works out really well. And yeah, it's cool. It was just a wild conversation. And it was, you know, it was, and that's the thing, it's stuff that, like, I guess I knew, even consciously, I kind of understood it, but not in the broader context of how it applies to my overall mindset and psyche. I just knew it for, you know, yeah, of course I'm happier. Yeah, of course, like, you know, I'm putting more focus on my close friendships and my found family. Of course, you know, I'm, you know, focusing on my relationship. And, you know, but I didn't necessarily comprehend the broad picture of, well, yeah, all of this is contributing to the fact that you're happier and more stable and, you know, just doing better. So that, you know, that's been a trip. I'm sure I'm gonna have some more stuff here coming up. I think another one day about some other stuff. But yeah, no, it's just, you know, analyze your dreams and analyze them in a way that, you know, where you kind of go, like, you know, where we're just to start seeing if there is themes across your dreams, because you might be surprised at what you find. That's all I got, guys. Have a good one.